James McAvoy once again does his best everybody impersonation, and we share how much we enjoyed the final installment of M. Night Shyamalan's trilogy of comic book homage films, Glass. Or did we? What a twist! That and more on this episode of The Real Review, so stay tuned.
Welcome to The Real Review.
Welcome to The Real Review, sponsored by Parametric and Lazy Ape Studios, where you get some of the latest happenings, real thoughts, and perspectives in the world of film and television. I'm here with Matt, has at least 20 distinct personalities in the credits. Hey.
Oh my goodness.
And
it's
who
true.
am I?
It's true. Everybody, hey, I'm here with Joel. Hey, you should really, not just settle for the multivitamins. You can get vitamin D because, you really need to have that to absorb the rest of the other vitamins. Cunningham.
That was probably the longest nickname. I appreciate that. I'll look into that. But probably the longest nickname you've ever given me there on the show.
It's true.
That was pretty lovely, though.
Yeah, it was good.
Anyway, welcome to the podcast. So, for those of you listening for the first time here, this is our podcast where Matt and I like to review films that we've had a chance to see, recent release films. And so we're going to be talking about a film today, as mentioned in the intro, a little film called Glass. Which was just released and a long time coming.
Yes, very long time, like 19 years.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't think any of us expected to ever see a sequel or a trilogy of films come from
I know that there was a clamoring for a sequel, at least back in the day.
There was.
And then it kind of went away. And then Split
there was a bunch of sea creatures just...
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Clamoring. I was going there for clam.
Clams.
Anyway.
Okay.
Yes. Why don't you give our
Puns.
listeners some ways to get connected to the podcast before we get into it?
Y'all can get connected with us multiple different ways. One of them being our website, which is realreviewmedia.com. And you can link to all of our social media from there, which is Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, which is at Real Review Media. And then also youtube.com/The Real Review. You can connect with us. You can email us on our email account, realreviewmedia at gmail.com.
You know that email account y'all got? We got one of them too.
Exactly. We actually recorded a little earlier than usual in the day.
Yeah, I think we're both still waking up a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I haven't had my coffee yet today.
It's okay.
Anybody who knows me personally knows that I usually need at least a cup before I'm moving and grooving.
Also, I just want to throw this in there real quick. We will be selecting a winner for our contest in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
Next couple of days. Real quick, you can actually enter yourself into that contest by going to Instagram or Facebook, find our post that we're actually promoting the contest for, share it, like it, and then you got to comment, #RealReview100 to celebrate 100 episodes, and then you're entered.
We've had quite the entry list as well. We're at double digits as far as entries into the contest.
Yeah,
so.
and we're in triple and quadruple digits if you add a lot of additional people in there that have yet to do it.
There you go. And you could be one. So definitely get entered in the contest. We'd love to go see a movie. And are we going to announce what movie we're going to go see?
Yeah, let's do it right now.
All right, go for it. Yeah.
Hey, so what we've decided to do is we're actually, the winner is going to go with us to go see Captain Marvel on or around March 8th or around that weekend when it comes out.
Sounds
that is
marvelous.
The goal. Yes, it's going to be awesome. So that's coming really soon, and I'll give you plenty of time to prep all of your debate questions that you want to talk to us about after the movie.
Yeah, why not?
It's going to be great.
Yeah. Twizzler-inspired debate questions.
Oh, yeah.
I will say is this as well. Like, if somebody has a real moral reason for not wanting to, I don't know why, but, we can always change it up. But that's the plan. Go see. I demand we go see. No, I don't know.
Yeah, I want to see Escape Room instead.
Yeah, we're not going to force somebody to go see the movie, you know what I mean? But that is our plan. We're going to go see Captain Marvel with you if you win the contest. So go ahead and enter. You got another couple days to do so. Last but not least, before we get into the actual podcast review of the film, Matt and I, we tend to review things a little bit one-sidedly, but kind of togetherly. It's weird. Matt tends to be a bit more of a fan perspective, where I tend to be a bit more of the critical perspective, and we kind of put those together.
Togetherly.
Yes, what we think is a real good... We're like kind of two halves of maybe
a yin
what a normal,
and a yang.
Yeah, maybe a normal film reviewer would be. I don't know. And we put those together to give you a really good, really interesting, hopefully real review. And
Joel,
Yeah.
You complete me.
You complete me. Yes. You told me my vitamin D needs.
Yes, it's true.
And we're on a journey here. We're still learning about film and cinema. We're not perfect. We do this as kind of for a fun thing, and so we'd like to have you join us with that journey as we go along.
Definitely.
So, Matt.
Yeah.
Why don't we get into this?
Let's do this thing.
Let's talk about this film, a little film called Glass. Do you want to intro it for us?
Yeah. Let's do Glass. Okay, so. As usual, super vague synopsis. Security guard David Dunn uses his supernatural abilities to track Kevin Wendell Crumb, a disturbed man who has 24 personalities.
What?
Directed by M. Night Shyamalan, written by M. Night Shyamalan. Most of the cast is apparently comprised as James McAvoy. Then you have Bruce Willis, Sam Jackson, Anya Taylor-Joy, Sarah Paulson, Spencer Treat Clark, Charlamagne Woodard, a number of other people as well, and M. Night Shyamalan. This is the long-awaited capper for the trilogy that Shyamalan started back in 2001 with Unbreakable, brought back to our forefront with Split 2 years ago, and then
a shocker.
And then this is right. That was a great experience in the theater for me, by the way.
Yeah.
So let me break down, I guess, real quick, and you can kind of share your experiences. I really liked Unbreakable. Really, really liked it. Saw it in the theater with my dad 19 years ago. And then Split I thought was okay until I saw that it connected. And then I was like, yes. And then I really liked Split. And then Glass, just the kind of culmination. Really liked it, didn't love it.
Okay.
Yeah. But doesn't mean it was bad. I actually really, really liked it.
Yeah.
So kind of your thoughts on that history of Shyamalan-ness.
I was late into the Unbreakable group. A lot of people saw that as their first M. Night Shyamalan. My first film seeing of M. Night Shyamalan was actually surprisingly Signs, which was a good film. Yeah, and
Even
a lot
though
of
Sixth Sense was his first one?
it was. Yeah,
Wow.
at the time I wasn't watching a lot of like suspense kind of scary films. I just didn't like them. And then after watching Signs, I was like, that was pretty good. I should go back and check. So I went back and watched Sixth Sense, and then later on down the road went back and watched Unbreakable. And so I was overall happy with it.
Yeah.
And I liked it. And I think
I like to hear that.
yeah, there was a subtletiness to the whole homage and the story that ended up being the real story of the film that it felt good. And it was kind of when M. Night Shyamalan does it well with kind of his world building and his twists, it's like there's a deeper message there that doesn't fully come to form until you get the final piece of the puzzle.
Right.
And it's less of a twist and more of that.
Yeah.
It's more of this is what it actually was about, that final piece of the puzzle. And so I thought that was really well done in the first one. I think I went back and watched Unbreakable specifically, and sorry, we're going to get into the actual Glass film review in a bit, but prior to seeing, I watched the original Unbreakable prior to seeing Glass, just because I wanted to kind of check it out, and I was watching it with another person who had never seen it. And I don't know if it's aged super well. Like, it hasn't aged poorly, but there's definitely some style choices and some cinematography choices that are kind of like, okay, yeah, I get it. For the time, good. It's a little bit slow. Pacing is a little bit tiresome at times. Characters are very muted in the film. And I think that's really when I first watched it, what I didn't like as much about it. And I think he's moved on as a filmmaker.
Yeah.
There's a more frenetic pace to the acting and the style, even the shooting. But he does have good moments. And I think the thing that he's done well throughout this course of the series is kept those kind of unnerving type ponderous moments where you're just sitting there kind of watching something unfold and you're just like, I don't know what's going to happen here. That, since the first film, has been part of it, and I have really enjoyed that. And I like, for the most part, I like comic books. I'm not a huge avid reader, but I enjoy kind of the world building that he's making, because it's like he's making superhero films without actually making superhero films. It's more about the comic books, and so I like that. Second one, I was mixed on. We talked about that.
Split?
Split. And then this one, I think as well, I'm pretty split on.
Pun intended.
Yeah. Split, I was split on, and then Glass, I was split on. There were some good elements there and some bad elements, but
you said overall you were happy with it.
Overall, it was a positive experience, but I didn't leave going like, yeah, I want to watch that again as soon as I can. Why don't we start with you kind of giving your more detailed breakdown?
Yeah, so I really liked it. Again, I think the biggest standout is James McAvoy again, with just, and you see a lot more of his like personality show up in this one.
Yeah.
and he crushes it every time. There's people speaking different languages. Obviously, you have the little kids, older people, and like just a myriad of different people within him. And I think he's probably the standout for sure. At least whenever he was on screen, I enjoyed watching everything that he was doing. Bruce Willis, Sam Jack, I really appreciated all the acting for real. And I was actually really surprised. Spencer Treat Clark, the kid who plays Bruce Willis's kid, David Dunn's kid from Unbreakable, reprised his role. I actually liked seeing that. That
was kind of neat. I was like, oh, look, it's like real time.
Yeah. I was like, that's awesome. They didn't just try and recast him.
Yeah.
And just to kind of talk about it, I'm not going to spoil anything here. But the movie I was really, really happy with overall. There's only one minor exception. There's even a little bit of like a twist and like a nod at maybe something larger at the end, just in this universe of storytelling. And I think that I'm in retrospect, I'm okay with it. In the moment, I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but the way that one of the characters like arcs ends, or a story comes to a conclusion at the end of the film, I wasn't happy with. And that was probably the only thing I wasn't happy with. Everything else I actually felt really good about. I thought the movie started off really strong. And you had just that classic like hero versus villain element and some of the stuff that you get from the trailer.
Yeah.
I liked a lot of the filming choices. There's a lot of unique filming choices, a lot of like point of view, like from the perspective of one of the characters, how the camera was set up. I liked it. I thought it was used a lot, because I noticed it, and I don't want to have to like notice things like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to like. I felt like it took me out a little bit. It's like, they're doing this thing a lot. Anyways, other than that, I thought it was really well acted. Glass. It doesn't entirely make sense why it's called Glass, probably till the end of the movie. And then, other than that, I thought it was a perfectly fine way to end the trilogy.
Yeah. I agree with some of those aspects. For me, the cinematography, I enjoyed the fact that they took chances. I enjoyed that they didn't just go with your very flat, simple type shooting style. They threw the camera. It was like a body camera at times.
Yeah.
It was like shooting and there was just a lot of interesting choices there. It was a bit obvious, but at the same time, I was like, all right, they're trying something there, and I'll give them credit for that. And I don't think any of the shooting felt like over the top bad to me. It just felt like they were going to try and do some different things with it. And so I enjoyed that. Yeah. I think I enjoyed the acting as well, for the most part, especially Samuel L. Jackson in this. He just did a really good job with his characterization. There was just a lot of levels that his character Glass, kind of Mr. Glass, I should say, goes through. And James McAvoy, I think it felt a little bit cartoonish at times, how many layers. It really felt like they were trying to make a big deal out of, especially in this film, the different characters that James McAvoy was being. I mean, there's literally just scenes where it's like him going from character to character
but
to character.
But I love that. I love seeing that.
I'm fine with seeing it like once, but once you continue to do it, it starts to feel like, all right, we've seen this. What is the point of it? It just felt a little bit too much. I was fine with him. The reason why I liked it in Split was because they used it as a function of the story, that his different characters were going to interact with the girls that he had captured in the whole plot as it's moving along in different ways. This one, it felt more of like, well, we just want to have a different character say a different thing in a different way. And so we're going to switch up who it is. So that kind of felt a little off to me. I think one of the things that I felt wasted in this film the most was Bruce Willis's character. And not just in the way that the film concludes, but just overall, his role in it felt very much just like he was just kind of along for the ride.
Yeah.
And I think that is because for me, the biggest thing that I really just did not enjoy about this film was, and I mentioned this in my intro, that puzzle piece that kind of fits in at the end of the film, which happens with M. Night Shyamalan films when he's trying to like make this bigger, like, oh, this is what it's really about type thing. When he put that puzzle piece down, I was just kind of left a bit like questioning and wondering. And when he does it at his best, you're like, oh, and you start to see things line up. With this one, it was like, huh? And the main reason I had
Yep.
reason I had a problem with it was because it felt, one, very forced, and two, it removed the entire, to me personally, it removed the story that had really been building over the last two films in this film as
Right.
well, which is that it was a story about these three characters and who they are in this world and why that works. And by bringing in this entire new puzzle piece, it simultaneously kind of said yes, but also said, but all this other stuff.
Right.
And it was like, well, now my focus is twisted, and my focus has been moved off of the primary plot and story that has been driven for the course of these three films, especially in the first one.
Right.
And I know that sounds vague. I apologize. I'm really trying. We're
Right.
trying our best to not spoil anything about this film. I think that's the biggest thing I could say, though, about why I left the film feeling so disappointed. I felt like I didn't so much get the story of the three characters that I went into this film hoping I was going to get.
Right.
I more got the story of kind of the world around the characters as the final conclusion to the story. And it was like, but I feel like, somebody offered you cake and I got a slice of pie, and then not even really kind of pie that I want, like.
I love pie more than cake. So.
Well, there you go. Maybe not a good metaphor. Then you got a slice of cake instead of a slice of pie.
Okay.
There you go. So you can be disappointed with me.
I gotcha.
So
I I know what you're talking about, and I like that last puzzle piece you're referring to, just not how it turns out for one of the main characters in the film.
I get you.
And I was just like, I don't appreciate that. But
yeah,
other than that, I get it. I get what was happening or trying to do. And that's one thing with Shyamalan that I've always appreciated. And I've always been a Shyamalan fan, even with some of the films that aren't like loved. Not Last Airbender, not Last Airbender, not After Earth. I did find some comedy
in the
it's
happening.
Not in the happening. It's not intentional.
What?
And
why would you say that?
Yeah, it's so funny, dude. One of the military guys is like, cheese and crackers. Like, that's his exclamation for what is happening.
Yeah,
it's
watch
silly.
Devil when you get a chance. Watch Devil.
I've seen Devil.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Oh, the toast thing. That was my favorite.
That doesn't bother me. I kind of like Devil. Okay. Anyways, so hey, get this. I even liked Lady in the Water.
No,
yes,
you didn't.
I did.
Oh man.
So let's just
me.
say this. But obviously it's not his favorite. I like his first four films. The Village, not as much as the first three, but I still like it. So Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Signs, great. I love The Visit, which is his one before Split came out.
Okay.
Split I liked. This one I liked not as much as Split or Unbreakable.
I haven't seen The Visit, so.
Oh, The Visit's super fun.
Yeah.
Anyways, so this thing, I just love Shyamalan's ability to, when he's in his prime of loving filmmaking and not like just, phoning it in with some of the movies that he has done in the past.
Yeah.
He just does things so differently than a lot of other people. Like, he's okay with doing his brand of whatever regardless. You know, he's not trying to adhere to some typical standard rule of things. And one thing I love about Glass specifically is in Split, there was a lot of creepy, unnerving, pondering, lingering moments that you're talking about. And he carries that over in this movie a lot, especially some of the stuff with the Beast. I was like, oh, this is a little bit creepy right here.
Yeah.
I really love all that stuff. I think he has some good horror sensibilities. As if you go back to The Visit, you can see it there
I
as
agree.
well.
Yeah. There was definitely moments in this film I was squirming. We talked about that.
Yeah,
I mean, a couple of moments, especially with Samuel Jackson's character, where I'm kind of like, ooh, I don't know what's about to happen.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Sam Jackson has a moment in the second half of the movie that I was like, oh dang.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. What a twist.
Yeah. Anyways, it was really good. Other than that, I mean, I really enjoyed it. It's again, I did like Unbreakable and Split better. This is closer to Split because Unbreakable is my favorite of the three. But yeah. So, any other thoughts?
Yeah, my final thought, and it's probably more on the negative side. The first film, what worked so well with the twist and the change up for the film style is that these films really function well. At least the first one really function as a deconstruction of the comic book genre and how that works within the real world, if that could work, how it would go. And because of that, the puzzle piece, the aspect that gets added at the end of the film really aided in that story.
Yeah.
And it really pushed it, like added, in a sense, it like highlighted the elements of the film, the first film, that really were about that.
Yeah.
And so it was good. It was like, wow, that's really strong. That's really pointing in the right direction. I think what worked against it in this film was they were trying to go for, again, somewhat that genre deconstruction type idea, but the twist didn't really add in any way to me that this was a genre deconstruction. It added the genre is already set in stone. We already know what the genre is. We're just trying to add a little more here so we can maybe blow the world up and expand this and take it to where we want it to go.
Right.
Now, if there had been some way that had really highlighted the idea of this being a comic book deconstruction, I would have loved that. And Samuel L. Jackson says this one line, I will spoil this, but it doesn't really explain how or where or why, but he says that it's an origin story.
Right.
It's not. Like, in the truest sense of what a comic book origin story is about, this is not that. So his twist, the twist of the story, really doesn't aid in the overall plot that's been building. And I think that's why I left the theater feeling like I'd kind of been served offered one thing but given something different. The film itself functions well as a story, and there's cinematography things that are great. There's suspense that's great. The acting is good, and so because of that, I'm going to give it a decent grade. But that's really it left me disappointed.
I gotcha.
Which is sad.
What is your grade?
So my grade's it's a 79.
79.
C plus, yeah.
Okay.
So it's not awful. I mean, hopefully I didn't make it sound like it's the end of the world. I'm not mad at the film. I just felt like I felt like you could have gotten there, but you didn't.
I'm going to give it a B plus.
Okay.
I'm 88.
Wow. All
Yeah,
right.
so I liked the ending. I think it added to the lore and the fact that I know that Shyamalan's not going to make any more of these movies. He's said that. He's like, I'm done with this.
The studio, I'm fearing.
The studio, Blumhouse.
They're going to make a television show out of this. I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised.
I hope that Blumhouse keeps Shyamalan like as like on retainer to make like horror films, like or thrillers and stuff like that. I think is really good at it, and he's got such a unique eye and perspective with it.
Did you see then they show the trailer for the new Key and Peele? What's his name?
Us.
Yeah, for
that
Us.
movie looks scary, dude.
Oh yeah,
it looks so scary.
Yeah, that looks freaky.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Yeah, watch the trailer for Us. If you like to Get Out, Jordan Peele's making another.
Peele,
he's making another one.
Yeah,
and it looks scarier.
It looks like they took the scary level up to 11 on that one. Yeah, so like the last one was like kind of freaky, but this one's like, yo!
It looks super scary, and it's got Lupita Nyong'o in it, and she's awesome. So, real quick,
you wanted to mention another film you had a chance to see. Yeah.
Yes. So we didn't talk about this up front, but I did get a chance to see another film. It came out a couple of weeks ago, and that's why we didn't talk about it up front. But it's Escape Room. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I actually did enjoy this movie.
Okay.
And it's kind of cheesy.
Okay.
And it's very like, it falls into a lot of cliche categories and stuff like that, but it's very inventive.
What types of cliches? Like horror cliches, suspense cliches?
Yeah. So.
Because it looks like a Jigsaw light type scenario.
Yeah.
Saw, I should say.
Yeah. So it's like Saw meets Hostel meets Belko Experiment.
Oh wow!
Like so, that's kind of the vibe that I got from it.
Yeah. I thought you meant that it actually was. That's pretty gruesome if that's the case.
So here, it's a PG-13 movie, though.
Right?
So it's like all those movies, but like light, Lite.
I gotcha.
And I did find some enjoyment in it. It's very, very inventive. Some of the character elements are cliche, like there's kind of the bully, like mean guy. Then you guys, there's like really smart. Then you have like the kind of dumb guy, and then you have all like your main lead who. Anyways, none of the characters are specifically like compelling. What's her face from Daredevil? Deborah Ann Wool is in it. Mm-hmm. She's great. And then you also have like Logan Miller, Jay Ellis, Taylor Russell.
Deborah's the
Tyler
lead,
Labine.
right?
Yeah. She's one of the main people in the escape room, and it's really cool. I like the way that it ended. It really reminded me of the Belko Experiment. That's not spoiling anything, but I did appreciate it. They left it open. I think if this movie, I haven't looked at the stats. If this movie does well, they could have a decent franchise on their hands.
Okay.
And what's really cool about it is the movie didn't need to be gory. And I
Yeah.
think PG-13 actually worked okay with. I'm hearing opposite from people, but I think it worked because a lot of the tension is in the setup for how people die or the setup for what's happening in each escape room. And some of these rooms are so elaborate, and it's really, really fun to watch. And one of them or two of them play into my fears, some of my own specific fears a little bit. And I was like, oh my gosh. It's not a great movie by any stretch of the imagination, but I did find enjoyment of it. Like it's not going to get an amazing grade. I'm going to give it a 77.
Okay.
I thought it was fun. I just thought it was a fun movie. Guilty pleasure, let's call it that.
Okay.
I want to see a sequel.
Is it like a little like stuffed animal that comes out on like a pogo stick and goes, I want to play a competition?
No.
I want to have a competition.
No.
No, sorry.
Do you want to play a game?
Yeah, sorry.
That's a competition.
That's a Saw joke for those of you out there.
Saw jokes.
Or like, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, all you kids got that one.
Cool. Well, it looked interesting to me. It actually kind of looked like maybe I could watch this. And
it was
kind of
fun.
enjoy it.
I don't know. I had fun watching it. It's not a great movie, but I did find enjoyment, and there were some good tension building elements.
Yeah.
The set designs were really cool, and I want to see more creativeness kind of come behind that.
Well, we should at some point as well. I know we keep talking about this. We should do a television episode. I'm catching up on a couple shows.
Yeah.
We just have new episodes of Daredevil that came out.
I started Punisher.
Punisher episodes came out. I started watching Haunting of Hill House.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's a couple. Yeah, maybe we'll do it at some point here. I know that's outside of what we were just talking about, but it just popped in my
Haunting
head.
of Hill House is good because it's not just a scary thing. It's a good drama.
Yeah. I was like, it was building to
Did
something.
you finish it?
No.
Oh, how
just
far are you?
First episode. So.
Oh, dang. Okay. Let me know when you get to episode 5 and then later 10, and then we can talk about what you saw. Yep.
What did I see?
Yeah.
Now when it be episode 5, it would be like, the entire time.
It's not necessarily freaky. It's just more so like when things are revealed, you're like, oh my gosh.
Okay.
Anyways.
All right. Well, I'll let you know then. Cool. So we're going to go ahead and wrap things up on the podcast then. Thank you for that additional little...
Totally.
Yeah. Some ways, again, to get connected in case you're not already. RealReviewMedia.com is our website. We have our Facebook, which is facebook.com/RealReviewMedia. Additionally, Instagram and Twitter, both at Real Review Media. We have our YouTube, which is where you can watch this episode as well as many other episodes and occasionally some other stuff that we put up there. You can check that out at youtube.com/TheRealReview. Finally, last but not least, ways to get connected to us personally. If you want to send us a line, drop some communication our way. RealReviewMedia@gmail.com is the place to do so. Final reminder, get signed up for the contest. We'd love to have you win and join us for an outing.
Definitely.
See Captain Marvel. And or some other film.
Yes.
If you have a huge reason for not wanting to see Marvel.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, anything else, Matt?
No, that's it.
All right. It's been real.
It's been real.